Dunno. How are you feeling? I'm scared even of this topic. Red pen. I don't know if this will mean anything to the younger set, and I know you're out there. Thank you for watching. Red pen, this was the thing of my childhood. Red ballpoint pen. It could do a smiley face on a good assignment, and it could also do critical remarks, often in cursive. Teachers would use the red pen when they had to make a correction. If it was a good paper, a good assignment, a good worksheet, a good math homework, a good whatever, check, smiley face, star, well done, exclamation point. If it wasn't, there was a lot more red pen on it. Why am I so energized about this? I'll tell you. Because in graduate school, I had a professor who used red ballpoint pen, and I felt like I was back in 6th grade. Now, this was someone whose opinion I cared about. She knew her material. She knew how to read her student. She knew how to read an assignment that got turned in. So I respected her feedback. Until, well, I still respected it, but until I got back a paper. On the first page, she had a quibble with something and then wrote good. Next page, no, no, and then yes. Something like that. There was sort of a mixture of, so I was reading sort of like a teenager learning how to drive, or a teenager driving one of those false cars at an amusement park, or me driving a golf cart, lurching forward and back. And then I got to the third page. She did not like what I wrote on the top and wrote no and underlined it, and then no again. And then the second half of the page just had X, 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 X. She could have done it as one big red ballpoint X, and instead she blocked it out inch by inch with X's. And then returned it to me with an F on it and said, when you give me a real paper, I'll give you a real grade. And I did, and she did. And I like to think I would tell this story even if it didn't have some kind of triumphant ending. But let's just say I didn't make an F in the class. I made an A. Without a plus beside it, without a minus beside it, a solid A in red pen. New Orleans version of Woolworths. I don't want to marginalize you, but there are lots of marginalized communities. I actually do think that people who appreciate marginalia are, if not marginalized, looked askance upon. I love markings in the margins. I like making them. If I'm at some kind of event, whether it's a funeral or a lecture, or a play, I will write in the margins. Sometimes it will be, I sometimes have a code, like if the performers choke on a certain number, I'll have a code that sort of indicates this is the one where everything fell apart. If I like, say, a musical number and the composer is listed, I will underline that person's name to say, go check out this person's other works. Things like this. Here's where I don't do it, in books, because that note is there forever. What I do in books instead is to put a post-it, either a traditional post-it or a post-it that I've cut myself rather than buying the ones that are tabs because it's more economical, and also then I can write on the post-it in a way that I can't write on the tab post-it. Post-it TM by the 3M company. And I also think about the joy that I had as a kid reading Mad magazine, which of a certain era, there was nothing quite like Mad. It was sarcastic and made a cultural critique and was fun and was kind of PG rated, but not super. It was just the right way to start to look at the world in a somewhat cynical way, but it wasn't entirely, nihilistic. And there were marginal drawings throughout that magazine, and they were so fun to spot. Kind of like the rats in my shirt. This is a Year of the Rat shirt. So you can see that this flower has a rat in it. I can't see another rat from here. There's another rat. Isn't that fun? It's like spotting little marginal drawings. The other thing I love is spotting marginal notes in a book that I've acquired at a secondhand store. I don't really like seeing marginal notes in a library book because I get really puritanical and think, you shouldn't have put that in there. But if it's a book someone else owned, I can see what they appreciated in a book. And I can see what engagement party they were going to in 1957. And then I realize whoever put that in the book probably was not one of the two persons getting engaged, nor the host of the engagement party, but someone who was going, so I will never know who had that book, but I will know what that person felt in chapter 8. This is fascinating to me. So I like all of that stuff. And just the act of making the note is what matters, because let's face it, when you go back to these things, do you remember why you made the note? If you don't do it with great alacrity, you probably aren't going to remember.